Next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special, CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "don't let the door hit you in the ass," never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
Ma isn't finished waging war on Hollywood's so-called woke darlings. Recently, he torched a handful of stars for force-feeding audiences the woke agenda, blasting them as completely detached from reality. Classic Ma. He ripped apart their flimsy arguments and exposed the hypocrisy behind their virtue-signaling theatrics. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's dive in.
No getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick.
Ma opened the evening by pointing out a brutal irony. The woke left worships its heroes, until those heroes say something that doesn't fit the script. Then just like that, they're excommunicated. J.K. Rowling may be the most infamous example, but she's hardly alone. Elon Musk was once Silicon Valley's golden boy. Joe Rogan was the edgy voice of progressives. Even Ma himself was celebrated as a liberal firebrand. But the moment they voiced unpopular opinions, the woke mob turned on them. Loyalty, it seems, lasts only as long as conformity does.
So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. Well, I got to tell you, the idea was met with great enthusiasm by everyone. And in short order, different people were suggesting the ways that their varied talents could be put to use. And then, of course, being Hollywood, nothing happened. But it's still a good idea, so I'm going to do it right here, right now. And not only that, we're going to do it every year.
So what is Ma really saying? He wants to crown Hollywood's true rebels, the stars who refuse to bow before the cancel culture inquisition. These are the ones who didn't grovel, didn't issue those polished PR apologies, and didn't delete their words just to appease the mob. Instead, they doubled down, stood firm, and reminded everyone that free speech still matters. Even in Hollywood's echo chamber, Ma is saluting the rare few who didn't sell their souls for applause. And honestly, in today's climate, that kind of defiance deserves a standing ovation.
First award goes to the president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollack. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures in case any of the adult subjects you specifically went to college to learn about came up. And Martha said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. She didn't cave in or hire a new dean of sensitivity. She just said, no, college is for introducing you to new ideas, not for kissing your and making you feel wonderful and always right.
If every university had the backbone of Martha Pollack, we'd be shaping a generation of leaders grounded in common sense rather than ideological fluff. For too long, higher education, especially leading up to the Trump years, degenerated into a breeding ground for bizarre, impractical ideas that corroded the moral foundation of society. Campuses became echo chambers where dissent was silenced, conformity was glorified, and curiosity was replaced by political correctness. Yet even before Trump's presidency, voices like Pollack refused to cave. She stood firm against the tide of wokeism, protecting the integrity of education. That courage, rare as it is, makes her worthy of the recognition Ma is handing out.
Speaking of brunch with your parents, I'm just amazed at how this generation can simultaneously be too sensitive for anything distasteful and somehow also so into eating. So, Cornell, I present you with these balls. I sure could have used them when I was there.
Look closely at today's younger generation, and the level of deviance is hard to ignore. On one hand, they pride themselves on being bold, liberated, and unapologetically edgy, indulging in behaviors that would make their grandparents faint. Yet on the other hand, these same young people crumble at the slightest verbal offense. The kind of degrading things they do to one another in the name of love or expression are jaw-dropping, yet a single joke, a word, or a differing opinion can send them into outrage. The hypocrisy is staggering, and the irony almost too rich to process.
Next award goes to the place where many Cornell grads will be working next year, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, who for years have been selling a line of ethnically themed products, trading on the name Joe. For example, they have Trader Jose's beer. So, of course, one teenager on Twitter heard the word Jose and said it was racist, and then there was a petition, and then Trader Joe's management did the right thing. They burnt down all their stores and killed themselves. No, they didn't. They said, you oversensitive little.
Remember the Trader Joe's fiasco? The Twitter mob showed up with digital pitchforks, demanding apologies, re-education, and immediate groveling. Everyone expected the company to fold like every other corporation, issue a guilt-soaked statement, rebrand into irrelevance, and pray the mob moved on. But Trader Joe's did the unthinkable. They stood firm. They refused to play the cancel culture circus. And guess what? The sky didn't fall. Sales held strong. Customers kept shopping. Why? Because most people saw through the nonsense. Playful branding was never a hate crime. By refusing to apologize for something that didn't need one, Trader Joe's proved that common sense and courage can still win.
Life and a sense of humor and released this statement. We disagree that any of these labels are racist, and we do not make decisions based on petitions. You see how easy it is? So to the home of the 19-cent banana, here, have some nuts.
Trader Joe's didn't just survive, they thrived. In an age where most companies panic at the first sign of online outrage, they showed that courage pays dividends. The so-called woke mob isn't the unstoppable force it pretends to be. It's just a handful of loud voices screaming into the Twitter void. Once you recognize that, their power evaporates. Trader Joe's gave everyone the blueprint. Stand tall, don't cave, and you'll come out stronger than ever.
Next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special. CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, don't let the door hit you in the ass, never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
Even comedy, one of the last frontiers of free expression, has been dragged into the cancel culture war zone. Dave Chappelle, ripped apart for daring to joke about taboo subjects. Kevin Hart, axed from hosting the Oscars over decade-old tweets he had already addressed. Joe Rogan, attacked for conversations that didn't toe the narrative. Even Rob Schneider, of all people, wasn't safe. Comedy has always thrived on challenging norms and mocking hypocrisy. But now, one off-script joke is treated like a crime. The irony is brutal. The very people dedicated to making us laugh are being silenced the fastest.
Movie lovers get together these days. One phrase that comes up a lot and always makes me sad is, yeah, you couldn't make that one today. Top of that list is the great Tropic Thunder. which the scolds have been after for years. But in February, Ben Stiller tweeted, "I make no apologies for Tropic Thunder. It's always been a controversial movie since when we opened, proud of it and the work everyone did on it." See, people, it's not that hard. He said it, and he still got a commercial. And the lesson is, if you stand up to the mob for just a day or two, their shallow, impatient, immature, smartphone-driven, gerbil minds will forget about it and go on to the next nothing burger, and you still will have your cojones.
Ma cut straight to the point. Standing up to the mob isn't career suicide. Too many celebrities live in constant fear of trending hashtags, terrified a Twitter rant will end them. But here's the truth. Careers aren't destroyed by angry threads. They're destroyed by cowardice and silence. The real danger is surrendering your voice just to appease a mob that will never be satisfied. Ma's message was blunt. Stop groveling, stop apologizing for common sense, and stop letting fear dictate the truth you speak. Audiences respect courage a lot more than spineless compliance.
Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan.
May then turned his fire on Hollywood's favorite hypocrites. Remember the endless celebrities swearing they'd leave America if Trump won? They made grand declarations on red carpets and late-night shows, promising exile in the name of principle. Fast forward 9 months, still in Hollywood, still sipping champagne, still cashing checks. Not a single moving truck in sight. Ma called it exactly what it was: empty threats for applause, pure performance for clout. If you're going to posture about resistance, at least follow through. Otherwise, it's all theater.
2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez, still here.
And here's the harsh truth. Hollywood celebrities are the last people anyone should look to for wisdom. They're not philosophers or visionaries. They're entertainers, addicted to applause and driven by trends. Their convictions last only as long as their ticket sales. And when the mob shows up, most fold instantly, issuing hollow apologies to protect their relevance. But Ma's takedown wasn't just comedy. It was a wake-up call. He reminded us that cancel culture only has the power people hand it. Trader Joe's proved resistance works. Comedians showed laughter can't be silenced. Martha Pollock proved courage isn't extinct in academia. Hollywood may posture, but real influence comes from those who stand their ground. Ma's closing note was crystal clear. Stop bowing to fake outrage and start defending common sense. In today's climate, defiance isn't dangerous, it's essential.